Hey there, thank you for continuing supporting my videos and coming back to my channel. But you know what else needs your support? The Black Lives Matters movement. In the description below you'll find links to donation pages, petition pages and ways to support black owned businesses. Racism is still very much an issue even if the topic is no longer trending. Thank you so much, and now back to your normal video. Welcome back to my channel, down to the last page. I'm Dika. So today I'm here to give you my review of The People Next Door by Rosin Meaney. This is one of the books part of my Bookshelf TBR, and I will be linking that here so you can see the full list of that TBR edition 1. Now, The People Next Door revolve around the residents of Miller Avenue. We've got 3 houses on this street. It's number 7, number 8, number 9. At number 7 we meet Yvonne, who lives there with her daughter Clara. Yvonne has noticed that over the years Clara's become a little bit more distant, and this also is down in terms of Clara doesn't really talk to her. She finds that she's really distant, especially when it comes to telling her about any relationships or things like that, and we do find out the reason behind that is actually a really heartbreaking reason behind that later on in the story. There's also tension surrounding Yvonne and her in-laws, which was her husband's parents, and there's a reason behind that again, which this is a non-spoiler review, we do find out in the story, but at the same time Yvonne's trying to for the duration for 20 plus years she's not been with anyone else. However, she's kind of wanting to get back into the dating scene, absolutely petrified of dating, and I totally understand why she would be. She's trying to get back on internet dating, which unfortunately does reap some unfortunate results, but some funny ones. She also has to contend with what I'd call a very busybody person at work, and there are other revelations that come from there, which I'll go into later on. Then we move on to number 8. At number 8 we meet Dan, who previously lived there with his wife, and there has been some internal family issues going on there. The fact that his wife's absence hasn't been lost on the other residents, but he's trying to deal with, having to run this house by himself. In comes in Kieran, who's a lodger who he gets to sort of rent out a room and obviously help pay for the mortgage of the house. Kieran brings back culinary flavor back into Dan's life, and not just that, it kind of helps him through his depression that he's going through after what happened with his wife. However, that's not the last time we hear from her. We do get a big revelation which kind of forces her back into his life, and also unfortunately the reason why she had left in the first place. And finally at number 9 we have Catherine, who believes that she has an unconventional marriage because her husband Justin is a lot more younger than her, and no one believes this more than her mother-in-law, who loves to remind her of how old she is every single day. Not just that, she's also worried that she's not able to give Justin any children, but before she could deal with that matter, she believes there are other things that could potentially be more threatening to her marriage. Overall, I really like The People Next Door, not just because of each household had different things going on. The way the book was structured itself, each chapter we got from the perspective of the household. So for example, at number 8, which had Dan and Kieran, so we had their perspective in it, and then if certain things had happened or something that would have affected the rest of the street, we'd get the accompanying perspective from both number 7 and number 9 from Yvonne and Catherine. Another thing I really liked is that even though we had the main people in the story, for example Kieran had come with his own baggage, there were other things that he was dealing with. He did come across quite secretive in the beginning, however the impact that he had on Dan in the long run was actually quite nice, because it did help open Dan up a little bit. Dan having suffered the emotional backlash of what happened between himself and his wife. Yvonne, like I'd mentioned, she had a busybody at work that always wanted to be sort of up in her business, but there were certain things that had come out, especially certain tales that particular person was telling her that completely, I would say, it surprised her, and it was a kind of a good reflection of not everything is how it seems. The one thing that did definitely surprise me about Yvonne's story was how her route to finding love, or her route to being able to move on, I wouldn't say the powers, but the way herself and Clara's father came together was probably not the way she'd expected, and now that she had the opportunity to sort of go ahead and find someone of her own, find someone for herself, I loved following that journey with her. feeling her secondhand embarrassment, going through the trials and errors and all of that of internet dating, and of course doing something like that and feeling like you can't, I wouldn't say you can't really tell anyone, but it's always frowned upon, looked like that's, you know, I'm not saying everyone definitely had her ups and downs in that sector, but let's just say that she ended up finding love in the most unexpected place, which was a very, very welcome, unexpected but very welcome plot twist towards the end of the book. And then with Catherine, there was a scandal that was running throughout the book, which when we found out who and what was behind this, I could say I wasn't surprised, and I was a little bit shocked because of the breadcrumbs that the author was leaving us and how he was leading us on. Catherine having to struggle with her own mother-in-law, again reminding her of her age, reminding her of how incapable she was of being a good wife to her son. So Catherine having to deal with that, having to deal with a potential infidelity that was arising in her family, and the way the route was going and how it was going, I actually thought it was going to come to pass, but that wasn't the case. Because of how things were linked in the story, it kind of gave me another surprising plot twist, which I wasn't expecting either. This was a really enjoyable story. I liked how it tied everyone in, how it tied everything in. It didn't feel boring. It felt, the story, kind of the way it progressed, how it went on, was quite natural. And when we did get introduced, apart from the main people our main concern were the people who were living on Miller's Avenue. We did have certain side characters, however they were linked to our main characters on the street. So having bits of their life sort of dragged in and how they affected our main protagonist was actually quite good and interesting to read. I will definitely be checking out other Rosin Meaney books. I did enjoy her style of writing, and it wasn't too descriptive, not too much, and it allowed us to be able to explore just snippets as the chapters were going on. It allowed us to explore just snippets of each and everybody that was on the street, and gave us the full extent of what was going on. But yeah, that was it. If you did like my video, don't forget to give me a like, and I'll see you guys on the next one.